Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 31st of March, and I wanted to put up the homework answers for U8L2. So take a look at these. Again, I think that lessons from L1 and L2 are relatively straightforward. Use your calculator a lot. We want to make sure that you are understanding domain, range, turning point, increasing, decreasing. I would like you to know when something is negative. That's when it's below when the output is below the x-axis. If I asked you for where the graph is positive, you would talk about where it's above the x-axis. Then I'm just trying to think of anything else. Then they have the axis of symmetry. I want to make sure we're clear on the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is always an equation, and it's always x equals. So the axis of symmetry is always x equals, and that's going to be where the turning point is. So you might be inclined and say, oh, the turning point, a coordinate point, is this point. But the axis of symmetry, the line that is drawn to make the two sides symmetrical, almost like where you would put the mirror in between the two sides to make them symmetrical, is the x equals whatever the number is. Okay? Moving right along. So as an example, in this particular question number 6, the axis of symmetry, I'm looking to see if it's even one of these questions here, and it's not. The axis of symmetry would be x equals 2. It has nothing to do with the height, which is around, 144? The axis of symmetry, the way I do it in class, is I draw a little dotted line showing the reader, you, that I know that when I put these two together like a book, they would be symmetrical. So I just want you to know this term axis of symmetry. I'm going to be doing a lesson, I believe, tomorrow, lesson 4.5. It's not in your book. I'll have to give you the sheets and you will do it. So here's the answers to this question. Take a look. Over what time interval is it increasing? Remember, it's going to be the x values. Interval is always x values. Interval is always x values. So when it's increasing, it's starting at 0. Obviously, it's below it, but this is an object traveling. We don't have negative time. So it starts at 0 and goes all the way up to 2. They're actually saying it's equal to 0. I would be okay with you saying not it just less than, right? 0 is less than. I'd be okay with that. Could I also write it as a coordinate point? As an interval? Absolutely. 0, 2, and I would put, in this case, parentheses around both sides. Where's my parenthesis button? Here it is, and here it is, okay? Oh, 0. There you go. Okay. So now let's go to the last question. Okay, Mrs. J, this is words and it has a fraction and I didn't do it. Okay, fine. People, plug it in your calculator. That's all you have to do. It's asking calculate C of 50. Plug in 50 for N. You can also use your calculator and arrow down to 50. It's kind of annoying, so I would prefer you put it into the equation and plug it in, but whatever. It would all work. Let me show you how to do it in the calculator, okay? So give me a second. Let me do it. Go here. Let me pull up my calculator. I have it here. I did not download it from the stuff I sent to you all, but hopefully some of you have seen that you can download that. So let me put in this equation on. So here's the equation. So let me just put it in. I'm putting it for 50. So this is going to be 7a. So I'm going to do 1 divided by 500 times 50 squared. So I'm plugging in 50 for n, minus 50 plus 200. Enter. And the answer is $155. Make sure you put the dollar sign, okay? Does this cost have a minimum or a maximum? How would we know? The cost has a minimum because the leading coefficient is positive. So this graph, without even having to put it in my calculator, would look something like this, right? I know that because it's a positive in front of the n squared. I know it's a fraction, it's a small fraction, it's still going to be a opening up parabola. It says use your calculator to find it. So when you put in your calculator, you could see that, I guess you were supposed to find what the value was. Fine. And then based on B, can this function have any real zeros? No, because what's happening is it's actually floating above the x-axis. It's floating kind of like that. Well, maybe not quite like that because this is like more like that, but it's floating. So there are no real zeros for this one, which means that I would never have a point where it hits zero or goes negative. Okay, so that's it for today. Don't forget we're having a quiz on Thursday. So please, please, please come to me with questions. If you need me, email me or come to the 10 a.m. Office hours. Have a great day. Bye now.